Hello, one people. Welcome to today's live stream. On today's live stream, we are going to talk about discrimination and marriages that happens elsewhere and in different cultures. So today's basically we are going to talk about discrimination and marriages elsewhere, and that is discrimination and how different cultures handle marriages and the problems they face because of discrimination. So first of all, let's look at the types of discrimination, the causes, and how different cultures handled it in terms of marriage. So our topic basically for today is discrimination and marriage elsewhere, or discrimination and marriage, or how different cultures handle marriage because of discrimination. By the way, my name is Mr. Mofla. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment. So now we want to look at how different culture handle relationship or marriage and the problems they face because of discrimination. Like I said earlier, today our topic is discrimination. So we're going to look at discrimination and marriage elsewhere, or discrimination and marriages, or discrimination and different culture, or discrimination and problems people face in marriage. So now let's look at what discrimination. So we'll quickly go into discrimination. Uh, so hi viewers, I want us to quickly go back because today is my first live, so I'm finding things tough on how to arrange myself. By the way, so when we say discrimination, discrimination actually is like an unfair treatment of people just because of their race, their religion, their ethnicity, their background, their color, or their race. So, hi, Maestro. I've seen you. Welcome. Where are you from, bro? Mention where you are from. Where are you from? So, yeah, I'm from Ghana. Which country are you from? I'm from Ghana. Which country are you from, Maestro? I can see you. We are discussing discrimination together. I'm from Ghana. Which country are you from? I'm from Ghana. I'm from West Africa. So we're discussing discrimination together. So, like I said, discrimination is an unfair treatment of people just because of their race, their color, their religion, or their region, where they come from, their skin. This happens in all parts of the world. Discrimination happens in all parts of the world. And so, as it happens in marriage as well. So, today, we're going to look at discrimination in marriages. And we have types of discrimination or examples of discrimination. We have the ethnic discrimination, we have the religious discrimination, we have social discrimination, we have we have uh, we have social discrimination, we have religious discrimination, we have race discrimination, we have region discrimination, and so on. So now to my question, I'll first ask. I have a question here that I would like to ask. I want us to think about some questions together. What happens when two people love each other but their societies or families don't agree because of their differences? Can you share with me? Maestro, I'm seeing you online. Can you share with me? What happens when two people love each other but the society or families don't agree because of their differences? Because I know this is something people actually face it a lot. There are a lot of people facing this. So my answer to this question is most times what happens when two people love each other but the societies or families don't agree because of their differences? It brings curiosity, it brings a lot of tensions, it brings misunderstanding. And marriage is the bond. Marriage is a special bond between two people, most especially, and more often, it's a man and a woman. So when two people begin to fall in love, and then because of their race or region or their religion or their skin color or their ethnicity, their race, where they are from, so one is being denied of the love brings a lot of tension. So I ask you, what do you also think? Do you think, or what do you see, that if people are in love and then they are being denied because of where they come from or because of discrimination, what do you think it will happen? All right, so let's continue. So now let's look at some of the examples of discrimination. So we have race. Like I said, some families reject partners from another race or tribe. So for instance, when you are going to marry, some families, most especially this happen in West Africa and some parts, most especially in West Africa, East Africa, most part of Africa experience this. When you are going to marry a lady, or when you are going to marry, some there are some cultures which doesn't allow some ethnicity to marry, or some religion or some ethnicity or some race to come to marry their daughter or son. So religion. Now let's move forward. Religion. Interfaith marriage can face pressure or rejection. Interfaith marriage can also definitely face pressure or rejection. That's by faith. This one may choose to be maybe a Buddhism or a Buddhist. This one may choose to be a Christian. And because of their religious perception or their religious rules, it doesn't allow them to marry together. So you see, this one is a lady, this one is a Christian, maybe this one is a Muslim, or this one is a traditionalist. But because of their religion, it does not help them or it does not allow them to marry together, or their culture does not allow them to marry. So this brings a lot of tension, and when it happens like that, it means love has been denied just because of one particular race, one particular rules of the religion. So when it happens like this, sometimes I don't know. What do you think we can do to solve this kind of problem? Even if you are watching it later, put it at the comment section. If you are watching the replay later, let me know your thoughts on what you think we can do to solve such problems. That when one wants to get married to someone or a person, or you want to marry a lady, but because she's a Christian and you are a Muslim, and it happens that you want to get married to her, you love her, but because of the religion or interfaith, because of the faith you have for her, because of the religious perception or the religious rules, you can't marry her, which is very, very, very bad. But then what we have to know is in creating awareness, what we have to know is every religion has its own rules that you have to accept. So if the religion says, or for instance, for this one, it's not going to be possible because we are Muslims or we are Buddhists and you are Christians, so we cannot marry or bind together. Then you just have to take it to life. You just have to sit down and analyze it very well so that when you understand it, because I believe communication, when it happens like this, communication is the only way you can solve this out. So now let's move on from the different forms of discrimination. We have talked about the race or tribe, where we say that some families reject partners from another race or tribe. So the first one, some families, different form of discrimination, race or tribe. Some families reject partners from different race or tribe when they happens to be like maybe these people are from different tribe, this they are a different tribe, and there are some specific tribes that they will not let their daughter or their son marry just because of special or some specific assumptions they have for that religion, or maybe their rules doesn't allow them to marry such religion, such race. And then we want on to say religion, interfaith marriages can face pressure or rejection. Now let's move on to social class, rich versus poor, relationship often judged unfairly. So on social class also affects our marriage status very well. For instance, and then the poor, you know, most of the time this happens. You see, pardon me, most this happens in most part of Africa, West Africa, and then East Africa. When there are some families, when they see that you are poor, they will never allow their son to marry you because they know you are not coming, you are not bringing anything to the table. You are not coming to help the man, but rather coming to demand from their son. And it's the same as the lady too. When they think when the lady is rich and she's in love with a guy, and the guy is a poor guy, the family wouldn't allow him to marry because they believe to marry the lady, or they will not allow the lady to marry the guy because their social class is not the same, or their wealth class is not the same. So they will most often times they want it to be balanced. So when it happens like this, if it were to be you and I, what do you think we could have done? Or is there any way we can also use to solve issues like this, most times when it happens, that's true. I'm not seeing your message again. So let me know at the comment section. Now let's move on. Disability. This one too is very, very important. When you are disabled, people with disabilities sometimes deny marriage opportunities. It might happen that, for instance, I may fall in love with someone or a lady, and then the lady is disabled. Excuse me to say she's a disabled person, but because she's a disabled person, the family wouldn't allow me to. Maybe my family would not accept her because she's a disabled person. They will not accept her, which may be very terrible. They will not accept her to get. They will not accept her, or they will not let. They will not even allow her because they think she's disabled and she's coming to be a burden for me. So probably they are not going to allow her for me to get married to her. You get what I mean? So they are not going to allow. So when it happens like this, it brings a lot of tension, and then it's really discriminatory because the lady might feel very sad, and she will feel very rejected, because maybe there are some people, the disability came in their life. They weren't born with it. It just came in their life at some one or two circumstances. It might be from accidents that they had it. So when things like this happen, oftentimes, so far as love is concerned, and both of them are in love with each other, we have to allow them to at least get married to each other. So we are still at the different forms of discrimination, gender rules. In some places, women or men are restricted in who they can marry. Yeah, for sure. In some places, gender rules. It's not any place like, in some places, women and men are restricted in who they can marry. So who can explain this point better for me to understand? Men and women are being, yeah, for sure. Men and women are being restricted for who they can marry. You cannot just marry anyone just like that and bring it to the family. So they have to teach you to go and marry a lady if you are a man, and then the lady you are going to marry, you have to be specific. They have to teach you the type of lady to go and marry. You cannot just bring anyone like that. So they have to show you who to marry. If they don't show you, then when you bring it, you have to make sure that it's good for them. If not, that they are not going to take it, but they are not going to even accept the lady. So that's what your afternoon. And for instance, let's move on. And before then, I have a question. How do other cultures around the world treat marriages when discrimination comes in? How do other cultures around the world treat marriages when discrimination comes in? How do other cultures around the world treat marriages when discrimination comes in? I wanna know. So how does it happen? Maestro, the maestro, tell me, how does your place, how do they treat marriages when discrimination comes in? Where at my place, when discrimination comes in, the marriage becomes very tough. It raises tension, and sometimes it's very difficult to proceed it. Even if the marriage is already done, if even the marriage is already done, they can sometimes it creates tension, or it raises a lot of tension that they can even dissolve the marriage just for peaceful coexistence. So let's move on. So now let's look at example from cultures or religions. We have interracial marriage, struggles, caste system or cultural restrictions. Examples from culture or countries. Interracial marriages, struggles, caste system, cultural restrictions. Sorry, voice coming. So now let's move on. Do you think family pressure causes discrimination in marriage? Do you think family pressure causes discrimination in marriages? My next question: what would you do If you love someone but society is against it, what would you do? If you love someone but society is against it, I'm still waiting. The maestro, whoever is watching, click on the like button and then engaged. Do you think, or what would you do if love you love someone but society is against it? Viewers who watch later can still comment. What would you do if you love someone but society is against it? What would you do? What do you think you can do? Let me know it. We all know that, yeah, we all know that love and marriage are meant to bring happiness. But in many parts of the world, discrimination make it difficult for couples. This can be discrimination based on race, tribe, religion, social class, or even disability. So I want us to think and then put this answer. How do other cultures around the world treat marriages when discrimination comes in? And most importantly, how can love and communication help us overcome these barriers? How can love and communication help us overcome these barriers? How can love and communication help us overcome these barriers? So, in summary, do you think discrimination or do you think family pressure causes discrimination in marriages? Put it at the comment section. However, I believe discrimination destroy love, but understanding and respect build happy marriage. Discrimination, my phone is at low. Actually, today I didn't prepare for this life, but I decided to come and then see, practice my first life. Tomorrow, we're gonna continue. I'm still at Mr. Muffler, promoting communication, one people, equality, and one love. Even if you are watching later, don't forget to put or share your thoughts, subscribe, like, and comment.